You know, when we picture ancient epic heroes, we usually imagine them just charging headfirst into battle, right? Swords drawn, total chaos. But today, we're diving into a fascinating explainer that completely flips that idea on its head. We're looking at a literal masterclass in strategic risk assessment and resource management, where survival actually depends on hitting the brakes completely. Let's get right into it.
So here's the million-dollar question. How do you defeat a supposedly invincible enemy without, rushing straight to your own destruction? Imagine the scene for a second. Their enemies have taken literally everything from them. Naturally, the knee-jerk reaction is to strike back immediately, to get revenge right now. But is that actually the smart play? Well, let's see how the legendary leader Yudhishthira tackles this exact problem by holding back his very impulsive warrior brother, Bhima.
That brings us to Section 1, the price of impulsion, and why blind courage just isn't enough.
This perfectly sets up the core conflict we're dealing with, action versus restraint. The text actually describes Yudhishthira listening to his brother's super aggressive plans, and he just sighs heavily. He absolutely refuses to just grind his virtues down like the towering mountains of Meru merely to satisfy this urge for immediate action. It's a classic clash. On one side, you have what Bhima wants, which is acting on courage alone. But on the flip side, we have deliberation and well-directed prowess. Yudhishthira is laying it out plainly. Actions born of raw impulsion, they fail. But meticulously planned actions, those are the ones that actually succeed and, crucially, attract the favor of the gods.
What he's really doing here is emotionally regulating his team. He's demanding that they look at the cold, hard facts on the battlefield before letting their adrenaline take over. As he tells Bhima right here, depending on courage alone always becomes a source of pain. He's really trying to ground his brother in reality, basically saying, look, I know you're proud of your might and you're getting swept up by restlessness, but we absolutely have to look at the bigger picture here.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, assessing the Kuru threat. A very sobering risk assessment.
And wow, the sheer scale of the enemy's tactical advantage here is honestly staggering. Yudhishthira isn't sugarcoating things just to boost morale. He lays out exactly what they're up against. The Kauravas aren't just well-funded with full treasures and massive forces. It's way deeper than that. They have allies bound by deep ties of affection. Their generals are fiercely loyal and honored with wealth and luxury. Plus, they're absolute masters of celestial weapons. Yudhishthira is reminding Bhima that these guys are not going to back down. They are literally ready to sacrifice their very lives in battle for their leader, Duryodhana. And then he shares this incredibly vulnerable truth. Even with legendary fighters like Bhishma and Drona on the other side, Yudhishthira admits his ultimate fear. He confesses, I cannot sleep thinking of the lightness of hand of that Suta's son. He's talking about Karna. He considers Karna totally invincible, impetuous, full of wrath, and encased in impenetrable mail. He just flat out asks Bhima, unaided as you are, how on earth can you possibly slay an enemy with warriors like that?
But right out of this palpable fear comes a massive strategic pivot. Section 3, Vyasa's divine master plan.
So right when the anxiety within the group hits its absolute peak, the great ascetic Vyasa, the son of Satyavati, arrives. Using his spiritual insight to read Yudhishthira's heart, he steps in. But he doesn't just offer empty comforting words, right? Instead, he provides a highly tangible, strategic tool called Pratismriti. Vyasa actually describes this secret science as success personified. It's specifically designed to dispel Yudhishthira's fever of anxiety and completely shift the momentum of their campaign. This is the foundational knowledge they desperately need to survive.
From there, Vyasa lays out this crystal-clear, multi-phase survival master plan. Step 1, Yudhishthira has to fully learn and retain this new science of Pratismriti. Step 2, their absolute best warrior, Arjuna, has to leave the group and seek out celestial weapons from the gods, Indra, Rudra, and the Lokapalas. And Step 3, the entire camp has to undergo a strategic relocation. Think about the extreme patience this requires. They are sending their top fighter away on a mystical quest, while the rest of the group just has to focus entirely on waiting and surviving.
Now, it's that final step of Vyasa's plan that gives us a surprisingly modern lesson. Strategic relocation, the surprising ancient sustainability plan. This part is absolutely fascinating. Vyasa warns Yudhishthira that staying in one place for too long isn't just unpleasant, it's actively dangerous to the ecosystem. If their massive entourage of brahmanas stays in the Dwaitavana wood, they're going to exhaust the deer and destroy the local creepers and plants. It is such an incredible ancient nod to ecological sustainability. It's almost like this ancient army is actively managing their environmental footprint.
The lesson here is timeless, really. You absolutely cannot outlast your enemy if you destroyed the very environment that's keeping you alive in the first place. Taking this vital advice to heart, the group executes the plan flawlessly. Yudhishthira purifies himself and masters the science of Pratismriti. Then they pack up, leave Dwaitavana, and relocate to the Kamyaka forest, setting up camp on the banks of the Saraswati River. And once they get there, they definitely don't just sit around twiddling their thumbs. They balance this long-term survival strategy with serious, rigorous daily discipline. They get right back to archery practice, they hunt responsibly with pure arrows, and they make sure to maintain their daily rites and chanting of the Vedas. It's all about patient, methodical preparation.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. When facing your own insurmountable odds, are you reacting impulsively like Bhima? Or are you planning sustainably like Yudhishthira? True strategic mastery isn't just about fighting the enemy standing right in front of you. Often, it's really about mastering your own patience, calculating the risks with clear eyes, and managing your resources for the long game. The next time you feel that urge to just rush in completely unprepared, remember the masterclass of the Kamyaka forest. Thanks for hanging out with me, and keep learning.